senior pastor at Wesley Methodist Church. If everyone would please silence your cell phone, and if you so choose, please stand and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Almighty and gracious God, as we draw close to the end of this year, we are ever grateful, thankful for all that you do in our lives, in our community. We thank you for the way that you have blessed the Beaumont area, and we pray and ask that you would continue to lead and guide us. We thank you for the leadership of this council. Continue to have your hand upon their shoulders. Help them to know what is best for your people. And all these things we pray and ask in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May I have roll call, please?
Mayor West.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Turner.
Here.
Councilmember Durio. Councilmember Getz.
Present.
Councilmember Thelshaw.
Present.
Councilmember Samuel. And Councilmember Neal.
Present.
Thank you.
Now is the time for any citizen who wishes to speak. You may make public comments on the consent agenda and regular agenda items 1 through 4, or any other topic. Please know that members of the council or myself cannot respond to you, but city staff will follow up with you and recognize any questions or concerns raised today. The city clerk will call your name when it is your time to speak. When you approach the podium, please say your address, your city, and state. We would appreciate it if we ask that you keep your comments to 3 minutes. The green light will come on when you approach the podium, and the red light will come on when your time is up.
Lauren Moniz.
Good afternoon. Here are the announcements for the week of December 19th. If you missed the State of the City last week, the recording is now live on our Facebook and YouTube pages. We hope as many residents as possible tune into these important city updates and the long-awaited unveiling of the downtown plan. We also unveiled a new website, BeaumontVision2035.com, which is where we'll be providing updates on these exciting projects that are part of the downtown plan. We also want your input. You can submit ideas of what you want to see and take our pledge to say you're a Believer. The city's free Christmas tree recycling program is back. Drop your trees off at Rogers, Sprott, or Magnolia Park from December 26th through January 13th, and the solid waste department will dispose of them for you. The park's dashboard has also been updated for December. This month, the Charlton Pollard Playground was finished, the shelter was completed at Sprott Park, and we received the turf tank striping system, and staff planted a number of edible fruit trees at parks around the city as an innovative way to combat food deserts. You can view all of this on our city website on the Parks Department page. The city will be closed December 25th for Christmas and January 1st for the New Year. There will be no city council meetings December 26th or January 2nd. We hope you enjoy the time with family and friends. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheryl Page.
Good afternoon. I'm Cheryl Page. I'm here to talk about code enforcement. I received a notice of a registered letter on Saturday, the 8th. I picked it up on the 10th. The letter was dated November 3rd. The postmark on the letter was November 8th. So I called code enforcement. I couldn't get anyone on the phone, so I came down. I wanted to talk to someone about the letter. There was an issue of a downed tree on my property, is what I was told, at 1481 Magnolia. I'm sorry, my address is 1410 Florida. I missed that part. I went over to see. I didn't see a downed tree, so I went to the office. The young lady that I spoke to on the phone told me that I could only speak with the inspector. So she wasn't in until 4 o'clock. It was 3 o'clock at that time. So I went home, I called, left her a message. I didn't get a return call, but I went back the next day. And she came out, I showed her the pictures of my property, and there was no downed tree there. And she was in agreement that that tree didn't, whatever tree they were referring to wasn't on my property. And I sent her an email with the pictures later on in the day. Later on, she sent me a letter saying her supervisor said, yes, but it's adjacent to your property. So I have the pictures, but I received yesterday a summons for court for me and my husband, saying that if we don't come to court, we're subject to arrest. Now, this tree is not on my property. It is not adjacent to my property. Even on the picture that they sent to me, there's a different address. But I have to come to court on January 4th. I'll be subject to a warrant being issued for my arrest. So what I'd like to do, because I know you don't have time to deal with it in this setting, but whoever could call me and talk to me about it, so I don't have to go to court. But I will go and take my time to do it, me and my husband, even though I think it's unnecessary. And I have my proof here. So if there's someone here, the councilman for that area, 1481 Magnolia, or my councilman for 05, Mr. Durio, I want somebody to talk to me, because I think they do a good job in code enforcement, but you can't use it as a hammer. And even if I had gotten it in November, for me to have to come to court under threat of arrest in January, the process is flawed. And it shouldn't be an adversarial relationship between the city and its citizens, because I pay my taxes on time. I own several properties. All of them are in good condition. And I should be given an opportunity to correct whatever the problem is without threat of jail or going to court. And when I go to the city to talk to someone should come out and talk to me. So if there's anybody here that can talk to me after the meeting, or if you can just make sure that someone contacts me prior to January 4th, I would appreciate some contact this week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Page, I'll contact you. My office will contact you prior to January 4th. You don't have to wait.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Carrie Level.
Hi, my name's Carrie Level. I am the administrator at the HOW Center, HOW Center. Unfortunately, my executive director, Dan Jeans, couldn't be here today. He wanted to spare us all from being exposed to the stomach flu, which I appreciate myself. First and foremost, we just wanted to extend our gratitude for all the support we've gotten, both from our community and from City Council. And just share with you guys, I brought the newsletter. I know it's lengthy, but this year was great for us. We've had 19 men that completed our program and moved on into sustainable independent living. These are guys that have come from straight out of incarceration or off the streets or out of drug addiction that are now productive members of society. And that's our mission. So this was last minute for me, but mostly I know that Dan and everybody, all the guys at the House Center, wanted to just extend our gratitude and tell y'all thanks for the support. Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Charlie Crabb.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Council. My name is Charlie Crabb. I live at 928 East Drive here in Beaumont. It's nice to be here today, and I guess this is a closeout day for the holidays in the year, and I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and hope everyone enjoys it. And it's been a good year in Beaumont, and I've enjoyed coming down and visiting with you all periodically, weekly, or bi-monthly or something. Anyway, 4th Street looks like it's half finished, and I was hoping it'd be finished for Christmas, but who knows? It's really smooth to drive on half of it, and that asphalt does a good job, Mr. Williams. Let's keep running the streets with asphalt. And I guess I just look forward to next year and hope everybody is well for the holidays. Take care.
Thank you, sir.
Ricky Jason.
Before
before I start, can I make sure that they get this?
Yes.
I'm ready. Hi, I am civil rights community activist Ricky Jason, and I am the protege of the late Dick Gregory. My condolences go to Mr. Mike Gitz for the loss of his wife. She was a trailblazer, great lady. And thank you, Mayor, for the work you're doing. I'm here today to speak on Ralph Evans. He's been coming into Beaumont and robbing the community blind. A lot of people are not going to have a Christmas because of Ralph Evans. Ralph Evans is Cornell X. Mary Wilkes, 17,000. Harold Roberts, 3,500. Jackie Tucson, 3,000. Hilda Spratley, 16,000. Leslie Bradley, 3,500. Osheen Smallwood, 15,000. Larry Moore, 8,500. Enough is enough of Cornell X. Ralph Evans coming in here robbing this community. I was working with the late Mr. Rio, and I had brought some of the victims in. I founded Victims of Cornell X in 2016, and me and Mr. Rio had brought in some of the victims, and he was very surprised to see all these people that Cornell X is robbing. Mayor, I wish we could make some kind of awareness for the people in Beaumont, Port Arthur, to not give Cornell X no money. He's playing like he's an attorney. He's not an attorney. I mean, it's a lot of people have gave Cornell X their last dime, and he runs off with their money. And it's sad. You know, it's sad for Cornell X, and he's kicked out of the Black Panthers. That's in your brochures. And I did write President Biden, and they did respond and put it in the right hands. He's under federal investigation. So I'm asking for the citizens of Beaumont, the churches, the leaders to make awareness to not give community activist Cornell X no money. He's a compulsive liar. He's the devil. He teaches hate. And the bottom line, the people of Beaumont want Cornell X in jail for fraud and embezzlement. Because Mayor, it's sad to take people money. Some people didn't even have a Thanksgiving. Some people say they're not going to have a good Christmas because we need to put some awareness out. Cornell, he teaches hate. Cornell needs to be in jail. And that's my words. And like I said, that's the last thing me and Mr. Rio was working on. I brought some of the victims in for Mr. Rio, Morgan, and Quinn. He was very upset. The late Dr. Richard Levacy, he was very upset. And till this day, Cornell is still robbing people. And we have a group called Victims of Cornell X 2023 on Facebook. And I'm just hoping that I can work with any one of y'all up here to stop this man from coming in here. Not Beaumont, he done robbed over 500,000 people, and that's the state of Texas. God bless y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Jason.
James Callis.
James Callis, Beaumont, Texas. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I was here last week for red tag houses, and I'm going to continue that quickly. I did want to wish everyone Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, and hopefully Beaumont can continue going forward into 2024. Last week, Councilman Turner and I believe Councilman Durso gave us a little traction. We were trying to get something beyond a TRO to continue and to complete red tag houses. This seems like a reasonable request. I did get some photos that Councilman Turner had requested, and I'm just going to hand them to him, but this is Mr. Mason's house. This was Willie Bostic, and if you would compare this to what the city submitted, I think back in August, you'll see that there's no more broken windows, the front's clear, all PEX pipe in here, new electrical service underway, not completed. This neighborhood on Euclid, there's got many red tag houses. These are three. This is Mr. Mason's in the middle. I want you to know that as a realtor, these are showing up somewhere between high 70s, low 80s. Now, this house would be the same when completed. So we're either going to do a TRO or maybe we can get an extension of some sort. This is Anamia's, excuse me, wrong one. Now, this is Juan and Juana's on Victoria. I got to tell you, this house is 90% complete. I did the plumbing there. We had one or two little glitches, and this house is just about ready to move in. The inside is what's been worked on. The outside, they're going to put new siding. This is Anna Mia's house on Magnolia. This is for homeless women when completed. And you can see it's a nice house. It's only been there since 1928. My family moved in 1934. This is the back of the house. And this is one that we actually completed last year. It was built in 2013, yet the city was going to tear it down. Now, I bought that and I rehabbed it. I did have to get a TRO, but I'd like to let you know that there's a gentleman living there now, and that house is has met all the codes. So,
Sir, if you'll just hand it to me, I can pass it down.
Mr. Turner first.
Thank you.
Check my time here. I think that's it. I'm going to mention the Scout Old Timers 100th anniversary meeting will be in January 27th. I'll come back on that. I would like to remind you that after the Galveston storm of 1900, the city council changed their form of government to the city commissioners, and they had a lot to redo. I know y'all have been going through a lot of changes. I wish everyone well. Take care.
Thank you, sir.
Tony Carrier.
Good afternoon. She already said my name is Tony. I live in Ward 4, and I just came to say Merry Christmas and say and tell you guys you are doing a marvelous job thus far. I think this is the last Tuesday of the year. I'm not sure, but I want to make sure that I came. Yeah, I'm just happy to be here today. I want to make sure that I start in the year coming, because I'd love to come down here so I can find out what's going on in the city. I am still trying to find a building for my entity, something that's near and dear to my heart for homeless men, because we definitely have a lot of buildings down here that are not occupied, and I don't know how to do it. So, but I know I'm gonna find a way, because I have the entity, I have the 501c3s, everything's intact. But I want to just tell you guys Merry Christmas, and I always bring sweets. I drink honey every day so I can stay sweet. So I brought you guys some sweets, but I brought it in one pack, and it's enough for everybody. Maybe 2, maybe 3, I don't know. But I'll give it to the clerk, and she can just pass it to and these 2 ladies, please, because ladies rock. They gotta have some. They're gonna issue it out. Amen. And I want to tell. Oh, God, I'm going to say Randy, because I always mess his name up. I will be coming to your church before the year is out, probably this coming Sunday, and visit, because I did have a good time. I go visit most churches because I'm trying to pump prayer back in all schools. That's my mission. That's what I do. That's one of the things that's near and dear to my heart also. And I'm the youngest student at Lamar, so I have an alma mater from California, but I plan to get one here too. So thank you and God bless. Okay.
Thank you.
That's all I have, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Is there a motion and a second for approval of the consent agenda?
Second.
It's been moved and
I'm sorry, Mayor, I didn't get the motion in second.
And Mike.
Thank you.
been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor of approving the consent agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is carried. Mr. City Manager, may we have the reading of item number 1, please?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Council, consider a resolution approving the proposal submitted by Entergy for the removal of electrical transformers located at 555 Main Street. And it comes with the recommendation of approval of the resolution.
Is there a motion for item number 1?
So move for approval. Second.
There's a motion and a second for approval of item number 1. Any discussion? Councilman Getz?
Mr. Manager, I understand this is necessary to go forward with demolition of the building. One of the things I'd like to ask you is if I can have a better understanding of what is going to be done with the site once that building is done. My belief is that it is going to be used to help put the downtown hotel that's being talked about here. Is that correct?
I guess the location of the downtown hotel has not been finalized by this council. Ray Garfield Group submitted 4 possible locations for that location of the hotel. So it hasn't been designated where, likewise, I guess this property, nothing's been totally identified for what's going to go on it yet. But I'll yield to Chris, and Chris can give more information on it if you have it.
That's pretty much the summary. Is Garfield Public-Private Partners has issued 4 different options, and so again, as the manager mentioned, we don't have a final location on where we think it should be. At this point, we do have a date, February 13th, where Garfield is going to present those 4 options to the public and to take input. But as the manager mentioned, I think that's kind of the priority in terms of, where the plaza goes, whether it's on that site or whether it's adjacent to. But right now, the priority is to try to identify where a possible hotel might be located. So it might be on this site, it might be adjacent to.
Now, you mentioned plaza. Exactly what are we looking at there?
Well, you may recall in the capital plan, the CIP, that we have looking forward over the next 5 years, what we're calling a plaza. You may recall when we purchased that property, the plan was to put a green space plaza there with amenities. Again, in this adopted CIP, that is in that plan. But again, that remains unfunded and it would be in a future year. So the idea, again, is to try to identify exactly what is the best location for a possible hotel and then work backwards from that.
So in the CIP, as I looked at it, the plaza that you mentioned has a budget of, I believe, $8 or $9 million. Does that sound right?
I believe it's estimated at 8.7, something like that.
And the prior city manager said the demolition of the building and the build out of any amenities would cost no more than $5 million. So how did we get to $9 million?
Well, again, that was years ago, and so we're looking at different plans and different schemes as we roll out our downtown plan. And so that estimate was put in the CIP in order to work towards that. But again, as we talked about, we don't have a specific location, and we really don't have a final design and scope. So all that's subject to change as we move through this process.
Well, I just want to go on record as saying that I support the downtown hotel and changing the civic center into a convention center. I think that makes sense. I think that's something that should have been done years and years and years ago. I am not on board with spending something like $9 million to create a plaza, or an amphitheater. We've had amphitheaters down at Riverfront Park that were never used. We've got an amphitheater out at Ford Park that's never used. So I don't believe an amphitheater in southeast Texas with mosquitoes and heat and all the rest of it is a practical use for this. But I do understand at this point the need for the demolition of the building. It's been stripped of much of its vital infrastructure. We advertised it for bid. We only had one bidder that didn't come close to being what we needed to consider to sell the building to them. But I have real questions about going forward with the plaza.
Councilman Durio. Thank you, Councilman Getz.
Yeah, just a couple of questions. I don't know who can answer this. How long it's going to take to remove those transformers and when they'll be able to get started on that?
Mr. Folsom may have
Mr. Blackburn might have some input
or
too.
Mr. Blackburn with Entergy.
Paul Blackburn with Entergy has come to answer any questions y'all may have concerning the transformers. But just to reiterate, the transformers power the building, and they're going to have to be removed, and the lead wiring coming to it will have to be backed up into a vault in the sidewalk. So that's part of that cost that Entergy has. So I'll let Paul elaborate on that a little bit more.
Absolutely. So as far as time goes, as soon as the invoice is paid, it's released to construction. From there, the contractor will outsource for this specific job. It's going to take about a week to prep. It's going to be about 3 days of actual work. So depending on the availability of the crane that we'll need to lift these very large transformers out of this vault, we should be looking at about a 2.5 week turnaround once the invoice is paid. It is being placed as a high priority. I know it's important to the city, so it is important to us. So we are moving it up as a priority as soon as the invoice is paid and released to construction.
Okay. And would that be the last thing before actual demolition can start?
Yes, that would allow us to go ahead and issue the notice to proceed on the demo portion of it.
And when would that start after the demolition? Actually, you have a timeline on that, when that would actually be able to get started?
No, it's going to depend on when we get Entergy started, and then we can set our timeline from that point. Okay. I think they got 100. I think the demo was, 125 days, somewhere around there, for the demo and the site work.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Blackburn, it is Christmas for if Entergy wants to help us out, but thank you.
Mayor, if I may,
Yes.
again, just for Councilmember Getz, nothing's been decided on the location of the hotel at this point. That's still to be decided by this city council for sure. And Garfield is coming with those recommendations. Staff is not saying we want it in any certain place, so that's yet to be determined. Mm-hmm.
And we will also have that public charrette, which was a new word to me, but where the public will have input as well. So any other discussion? All in favor of approving item number 1, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is carried. Mr. City Manager, may we have the reading of item number 2?
Council consider a resolution authorizing the lease of 66 vehicles with Enterprise FM Trust. And it comes with the recommendation of approval.
Is there a motion for item number 2?
Move to approve. Second.
There is a motion and a second for approval of item number 2. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of approving item number 2, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is carried. Mr. City Manager, may we have the reading of item number 3, please?
Council consider a resolution authorizing the city manager to award a contract to Aranda Industries, LLC of Houston for the Caldwood area storm sewer point repairs, REBID project. And it comes with the approval of the resolution.
Is there a motion for item number 3?
Move to approve. Second.
It's been moved and seconded for approval of item number 3. Any discussion? All those in favor of approving item number 3, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is carried. Mr. City Manager, may we have the reading of item number 4?
Council consider a resolution authorizing eminent domain proceeding to acquire property to improve traffic safety at North Major Drive and Northwest Parkway. And it comes with the recommendation of approval of the resolution.
Is there a motion for item number 4?
Move to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded for approval for item number 4. Any discussion? Councilman Turner?
Can staff or someone just give me a little history of how we got to this point right here, where we're at right now?
We've been trying to acquire this piece of property to allow for the implementation of a traffic signal at Northwest Parkway and Major Drive. We've tried to work with the property owner, extended an offer, but we've gotten no response. And so we've gotten to this point of eminent domain to acquire it.
Have the traffic and accidents been pretty heavy in that area?
There have been a lot of accidents on Major at Northwest. We've been trying to work to get the signal in for quite a while, but it's a complicated intersection because of the existing properties. There's an apartment complex across Major from Northwest Parkway that has a driveway there. There's some other potential development next to it that's going to occur. So by acquiring this piece of property, we're able to put a more square intersection in. We're working with the apartment to relocate, basically repurpose to where they don't use that driveway. They use the shared access on the part of the intersection, and it should make it much safer.
Councilman Getz?
It looks like when Northwest Parkway was constructed, or shortly thereafter, there were pedestals created there to have traffic lights, but are we not using those, or what's the story with that?
They weren't put in the correct locations. That didn't really accommodate that apartment exit. So no, we aren't going to be able to use the ones on the other side, on the apartment side.
So will they be demoed, or?
Yes, sir, when we put the signal in.
All right.
Councilman Felshaw?
And Bart, I think we all agree that eminent domain is something that we only use when it's in the benefit of all citizens, as in this case, and it's a last resort. So I'm assuming then that there's no other options for this.
Not that we're aware of. We've tried to work with the property owner for quite some time, and then we initiated a formal process after that, and we've communicated formally to them on 2 separate occasions with no response, and that's why we're at the stage we're at now.
Thank you.
Councilman Durio?
Yes, Bart, can you just explain to the public exactly what it means when we say public domain, so public not thinking that we're just going and taking people's property from them?
Well, the property is necessary in order to implement a public road to complete the intersection. So it's for the use of the public, all citizens, once the property is obtained.
And just for clarification, the law does not allow the cities to eminent domain property that's not for a public purpose or safety reason. So we couldn't take property just because we wanted to use it for economic development, for example. It has to be for very strict purposes. And so in order to initiate eminent domain proceedings, there are certain steps that the city has to take, which Mr. Barkowiak has outlined. We have to first attempt to purchase the property at fair market value and give the owner a chance to, I guess, counter negotiate that. And we have to show that it's necessary and needed for a public purpose.
And the property owner will be compensated. Property's been assessed at $17,500. That's been our offer to them to this point, but they will receive compensation for the property.
All right, thank you.
Councilman Getz?
Is it permissible to say what he's asking for the property?
There's been no response back. There's been no counter offer.
Councilman Phelps?
And just for clarity, Bart, this price was determined by an outside firm.
Yes, an independent appraisal.
No other discussion. All in favor of approving item number 4, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'm sorry, Mayor, you have to do a record vote for this item. I apologize, that was not included in your script, so that's my fault.
I don't have a script.
Sorry.
Not on it.
I mean, to say is I failed to notify you prior to the meeting that required a record vote.
Good.
Well, thank you, Madam Attorney. Madam Secretary, would you please do a roll call, please?
Mayor West?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Turner?
Yes.
Councilmember Durio?
Yes.
Councilmember Getz?
Yes.
Councilmember Felshaw?
Yes.
Councilmember Samuel?
Yes.
And Councilmember Neal?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. And Mr. City Manager, would you please lead us into the discussion item?
Yes, Mayor. Council to discuss future dates for city council meetings. Every year, approximately at this time, there's a discussion on council meetings. The city clerk has to set a calendar for the coming year. So we're here to get feedback from the council on how you would like that to look going forward, so she can bring an item back to you in a future agenda item for approval. This one's a little different this year because we went through a bond proposition election that allowed you to have latitude in setting meeting dates. Over 80% of the voting citizenry voted to give you that authority to do that. So today, while we're looking for feedback on future meeting dates, et cetera, we'd also want feedback from City Council on when you'd like to, if you'd like to look at your meeting schedule to adjust it for sure. Of course, we have some things as a staff we'd like to have, but we need to hear from you on what you want.
I know with some discussion, we're looking at possibly the first and third Tuesdays of the month, except like in January, it would be the second and fourth, because the first Tuesday we will not be meeting. So that would give us some flexibility, but if other people have comments, and we can certainly add meetings as needed. Councilman Getz?
Couldn't we delete meetings as needed as well? I mean, you know, I know that we have had a number of times that we have not had meetings because of a holiday, but the city was actually working on a Tuesday. And the only problem I have is that if we start going to every other week to have meetings, it's going to make the days that we have our meetings very, very long. And so, you know, I'm willing to do whatever the council wants to do. I'm just pointing that out, that it's going to make the meetings very, very long if you are doubling up.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Felshaw?
One of the things I was thinking about is that if we have it the first and third of every month, that's consistency, and that's what the citizens are going to want. It's predictable. They know what to expect. The other thing is that whenever we run into that month where there's a fifth Tuesday, then there's going to be a gap there. There's going to be that extra time. But what we could consider is that on those fifth Tuesdays, we could do a night meeting, and that would satisfy that that desire we've had to once a quarter offer a night meeting. And so again, you're offering some consistency there, first and third Tuesday, and then you're going to end up with basically still once a quarter having a night meeting on that fifth Tuesday. And so they know what to expect, and I think that would be important to the citizens. Another thing, and again, I'm like Councilman Getz, I'll yield to the council on this, but one of the things I know this would do, if we go to twice a month, then this would free up our staff to spend more time addressing the issues that our city is facing and not spend so much time in trying to prepare for weekly meetings. Because I'm assuming that the amount of hours that are put into this meeting on Tuesday is a lot. And I think it would free up our staff to focus on other things.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Getz.
Mr. Williams, you mentioned that administration had some viewpoints on it. I'd like to hear your viewpoints as well.
Thank you, Council Member. Yeah, and Council has brought up some excellent points already, for sure, because there's a consideration for staff. And during one of our staff meetings, we had this discussion because I wanted to get their feedback and on this item too. It is time consuming because you're perpetually preparing for a meeting. You're never out of that cycle of doing that. But not only preparing for a meeting, attending meetings. You know, we've got a day here where we disrupt that day and we're here working. As far as length, you know, some meetings are short, some are long. It's always hard to find that balance, so a perfect balance of the hour and a half meeting versus the 4 or 5 hour meeting. So during this type of, if you look at this type of process, there's time to prepare and plan for your items. There's time to look at your P&Z items to say, we need them on this agenda and they're going to go on this meeting. So, so it's no tremendous issue for staff as long as we have time to prepare for it. and the consensus of the group staff was the first and third Tuesdays for a meeting. Of course, it's your decision, but we think that would be good for everybody. I mean, you're busy sometimes too, for sure, but we like that idea for sure. I mean, we can always adjust agendas and get things done in that respect.
Councilman Turner?
So, just to ask, I don't mind, I'm just going to go on and shoot it straight. So would this give staff more time to accomplish some of the goals and the deadlines? I'm a big timeline person.
Yes, it gives more time to work on other issues, yes. Yes, I guess the short answer.
Okay. And I'm assuming, City Manager, that, as you mentioned, I just want to make sure I'm hearing you correctly, concerned about the length of the meeting. You can control the agenda and how many items get posted. Things that are not time sensitive can be put off until the next meeting. So you would control the agenda to where we don't get overloaded and we're not here till midnight.
Yes, we could control. But to be fair, it probably would extend some time because you're just meeting twice a month rather than 4 times. But if you look at it and balance it, I think you would have 2 more evenly linked meetings rather than 4 with one hour, 4 hours. And we can control it in that manner.
And you've been involved in municipal government longer than I, so I'm asking you, in your experience, what do you see across the state of Texas? Are cities still meeting? Is there more cities that meet weekly or bi-monthly? I mean, what is your experience?
It typically depends on the size of the city. If you get a large city like a Houston or Austin, they'll meet more weekly, because they have so much more business. But like Austin, they'll take off the entire month of July for vacation, so that they adjust it. Smaller cities will meet anywhere from 1 to twice a month. Some even meet once a month, but typically it's twice.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right, that will close the discussion. Now it's time for council member comments, and I will begin with Councilman Neal.
Thank you. Just like to say happy birthday, Mayor, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's to all the citizens.
Thank you. Councilman
Happy birthday, Mayor. Merry Christmas to everyone. I think we're coming out of the old year, preparing for the new in a great position. A lot of things are happening for the good in Beaumont, so thanks.
Councilman Felshaw.
The same. Happy birthday, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year, and congratulations to P&G.
Yes. Councilman Turner.
Happy birthday, young Mayor Juarez. Every time I call him, I always call him young Roy West. If I don't say that, something may be wrong or serious. Right. But yeah, I knew you're a special guy. You share the same birthday as my wife. Today is my wife's birthday. So happy birthday, Ashley, if you're watching as well. Thank you.
No comment.
Happy birthday, Mayor. We're not the same age anymore. You're a year older than me now. Merry Christmas to everyone out there in the audience. Thank y'all for coming. Our regulars, we sure appreciate it. Y'all keep us on our toes. One other thing, I've been getting, we had someone speak on it today, been getting in complaints about our building inspectors and wanting them to have more consistency. We get a lot of folks that say one inspector will come out and tell them one thing, and when the next inspector comes out and says, I don't know who told you that, but that's not how it's supposed to be. So we need to, and I've gotten a lot of complaints like that. So I'm asking that we could look into more consistency, better customer service out of our building inspectors. Y'all could look into that. I appreciate it.
Yes, Councilman Neal.
You're talking about building inspectors or code enforcement? Because there's a difference.
When you, they go out and inspect the buildings. When you're doing an add-on or a remodel or something like that. Did I say the right one?
He spoke today was for code enforcement.
Oh, well, I spoke to someone earlier today and it was building inspectors, so. I think they all work for Mr. Boone, though.
Stone.
Calling Chris.
Madam Attorney?
My turn. Happy birthday, Mayor, and happy birthday to Ashley, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's to everyone.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Mayor.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone. Happy birthday, Ashley, and happy birthday, Mayor.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Mayor. Also, happy birthday, Sandra Davis. She left. Ms. Davis, I'd be remiss if I didn't say that one too. And Merry Christmas to everyone, to the City Council, staff, and all the great citizens of Beaumont, Texas. Thank you.
Well, I'll join in the comments to happy birthday to Ashley. And for those that weren't able to attend the State of the City last Thursday, it is online, and there's a lot of good information about the vision of the city and also what's been accomplished. It's on video. It's easy to follow, and certainly appreciate y'all if y'all are able to check that out. Did you have something else?
I just wanted to commend the Communications Department on a job well done. They did a fantastic job.
And it was a time for communications to shine, and they did a remarkable job. And if you tune in to see it, you will see their handiwork right away, and it was very impressive. And again, for the last meeting of this year, I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Here.